Welcome to Cheers to Progress podcast, where we discuss strategies and practical tips focused on our well-being and a better quality of life. I'm your host Zuzka, and today I will share with you the powerful benefits of cold water therapy, as well as practical tips and what do you need to know before you get started with your own cold showers or cold plunges. I'm sure that some of you are wondering, why are so many people out there nowadays, including me, willing to torture their body in a tub filled with ice cold water? Well, that's because both the immediate and long-term benefits of regular cold water therapy far outweigh the short and temporary discomfort. And even if you're thinking right now, there is no way I will ever get into a cold shower or plunge tub, then just watch the rest of this video, because I used to feel the same exact way. I was someone who absolutely couldn't stand being cold for even 5 seconds. But I'm telling you that the temporary discomfort is way worth it, and you can ease into it like I did. I've been taking cold showers almost daily for the past 5 years, and I've also done the occasional winter dip in Lake Tahoe. And now I have decided to take my cold water therapy to the next level, and I will tell you why. First of all, for the past 5 years, since I started taking cold showers, I have been way more comfortable during the winter months. In other words, I haven't been complaining as much about being cold. And in 5 years, I have been sick only once. And that's only because of COVID. But even recovering from COVID, I was pretty, comfortable. I was pretty easy to get moving and doing workouts the moment my fever was gone. So I got back into my routine pretty quickly, because I also believe that movement and exercise is therapeutic, and it's the very foundation of a good health. But we can talk about that in another video. So other than that, other than getting COVID just like everyone else on this planet, I haven't even had the sniffles for 5 years, which in my world is a sign that my immune system has improved. And I'm certainly not the only person who's experienced this, because cold water exposure or cold water therapy has been used by people for centuries for these exact reasons, to improve the immune system and overall health. Because what happens when you expose your body to a brief stress, such as cold shower or a cold plunge, it triggers an adaptation so that the body becomes stronger. And that's called hormetic effect. That's why it's also called cold water therapy, because of all the incredible physiological and mental benefits that this cold water therapy brings. So let's just go over what the cold therapy does for your immune system. First of all, it increases the formation of your white blood cells, which are a very important part of your immune system. They protect you from infections and any harmful organisms that don't belong in your body. It also decreases chronic inflammation, which is closely associated with all diseases pretty much. It increases the production of the most powerful antioxidant in your liver called glutathione, which is great at detoxifying your body and protecting you from all kinds of harmful chemicals that you may encounter on a daily basis. And when you increase glutathione, it will also activate entire networks of other antioxidants. And by the way, glutathione supplements and injections can be quite expensive. So cold plunge or a shower is a much cheaper way to increase it and protect your body from oxidative stress. Cold water therapy also improves our blood circulation, the formation of new blood vessels and blood cells, which means more oxygen for your cells. This is very important for our survival, because our cells die without oxygen. And a lot of diseases are linked to low levels of oxygen in our tissues. Cold water therapy also improves our lymphatic flow, which is also incredibly important for our immune system. The function of our lymphatics is to scan the body for toxins and viruses and cancer cells and things like that, and then kill them and eliminate them from the body. This is why it's very difficult to stay healthy or to reach our fitness goals without a properly functioning lymphatic system. Cold water therapy also improves your thyroid function and increases your T cells, which are the active form of your thyroid hormones. These T cells protect you by killing viruses and cancer cells as well. Your thyroid is also closely linked to your metabolism. And the interesting thing is that high sensitivity to cold is linked to low thyroid function. So if you are sensitive to cold and if you feel like you do have slowed metabolism, then it would be even more of a reason for you to start taking cold showers or doing cold plunges. And just remember that there are 3 hormones that act like 3 musketeers in your body that directly influence your metabolism. And if one of them is out of balance, the others will go down as well. And interestingly, all 3 of them are improved by regular cold water therapy. Cold water immersion lowers chronically elevated cortisol, and it improves insulin sensitivity, which is a great thing. We want that. It's already becoming a common knowledge that insulin resistance is associated with obesity and leads to type 2 diabetes and all kinds of diseases. So the more sensitive you are to insulin, the easier it's going to be to lose weight and maintain healthy blood sugar levels. Cold water therapy also increases your brown fat, which is rich in mitochondria. That's what gives it the darker color and also what makes it so effective in increasing our metabolism and burning the stored white fat in our body. And we know that having too much of white fat, especially around the abdomen, promotes all kinds of metabolic and cardiovascular diseases. So increasing and activating the brown fat and turning the white fat into brown fat by doing cold plunge regularly can not only help you get leaner, but also much healthier. And I'm sure you're wondering if you can actually lose weight by doing cold plunge every day. The answer is yes, if you also exercise and eat healthy, because lack of movement and crappy diet will always overpower any of the metabolic improvements that cold plunge can give you. But if you do exercise regularly and if you do nourish your body with the foods you eat, then the cold water therapy will make a big difference and even help you break through plateaus, because it will also increase your energy, it will speed up your recovery after a hard workout, it will decrease significantly any post-workout muscle soreness and even improve your muscle function. And one of my absolute favorite benefits of cold water therapy is the immediate improvement in mood and energy, because it triggers the release of endorphins, the feel-good hormones, as well as norepinephrine and dopamine. And dopamine is the motivational hormone that helps us get things done. Norepinephrine also improves our mood and makes us highly alert. It's one of the important hormones that helps us burn fat, but it also plays a key role in our ability to focus and regulate our emotions. It's actually used in drugs to treat depression because people who suffer from depression have low levels of norepinephrine. That's why cold water therapy is like a natural antidepressant for us. And the other thing that you'll notice when you start doing cold showers and cold plunges is an overall mental resilience, because you'll be strengthening your willpower. And that's going to bleed over to other areas of your life. When you strengthen your willpower, you will inevitably gain more confidence, because you will, in essence, trust in your own ability to overcome any challenges. So now that you are aware of how beneficial cold water therapy actually is and why it's so worth it, let's talk about how to get started and how to get the most out of it. So first of all, if you are completely new to cold water therapy and you are highly sensitive to cold, then you might want to consider supplementing with B vitamins because they can help increase tolerance to cold temperature. And I personally do take B vitamins in the form of supplements, and I also take B12 in the form of injection. It really helps. And I would also recommend that you start with the cold shower, and you can do as little as 10 seconds at the beginning. Just make sure that you always end the shower on cold if your goal is to increase your metabolism. Also, don't be afraid of shivering because that's what will increase your metabolism as well. This is why I have switched from cold showers to cold plunge, because the 5 minutes of cold shower no longer triggers the shivering for me. And it's also not a mental challenge anymore because now it's just a habit. So, end on cold, make sure that you shiver, and if you get tired of the shivering, then do some jumping jacks or some light exercise to warm yourself up. Just don't warm up passively in a hot shower or sauna afterwards if you want to reap the benefits of increased metabolism. And make sure to get the cold water on your face because that will trigger your parasympathetic system and help you relax a little bit more. So even though it might sound counterintuitive, if you do get your face into the cold water, it will be easier for you to control your breathing. And that's very important because your initial automatic response to cold water will be increased heart rate, and you'll have the urge to hyperventilate, which is normal. But if you want to take control immediately, then you have to start focusing on slowing down your breathing. Otherwise, you won't last more than a few seconds and you won't get all the great benefits. So make sure that you slow down your breathing. Some people like to slow down their breathing to 6 deep breaths per minute, and others like to also include the physiological sigh breathing, which is inhale through your nose almost at capacity, followed by additional inhale and then long exhale. I like both styles of slow breathing, so I mix it up. I might start with a double inhale, and then it's easier for me to switch to just simple slow breathing. It's also important that you're breathing through your nose, especially when you're inhaling. And I've also heard that getting cold water on top of your head when you're showering or when you're taking the cold plunge is great for improving the blood-brain barrier, which is really important for your brain health. So I do make sure to dunk my entire head whenever possible. Some days, if I'm in a hurry and I don't want to mess up my hair, then I just get the face in. But here's the good news. The good news is that the latest research says that we only need 11 minutes a week spread across a few days to get all the great benefits of cold water therapy. So as long as it's uncomfortably cold and you're using your willpower to stay in the cold water, and as long as it triggers the shivering, then all you really need is 1 to 3 minutes a day and a few days a week to accumulate the total of 11 minutes per week. So now let's talk about timing. When is the best time to do cold shower or plunge? So apparently you can get even greater effect on your metabolism from cold exposure if you do it in a fasted state. So I personally like to do it in the mornings. And another tip is that if you want even greater increase of energy and the dopamine hormone, the motivational hormone in the mornings, then do your cold water therapy after about an hour of drinking any beverage that contains caffeine, such as coffee or tea or yerba mate, because it will increase the sensitivity of dopamine receptors. So when you do get into the cold shower or a cold plunge and your dopamine increases, the receptors will be ready for it and you will notice even greater effect from it. You may want to do cold plunge after your training to cool yourself down, which is fine, unless the whole purpose of your training was to increase your strength and muscle size. Because cold water plunge right after your training can diminish these strength and muscle gains. But if you do cold water therapy after a high intensity interval training or any type of skill training or long distance running or hot yoga, then it's going to help with recovery and it won't hinder anything. It will actually improve your endurance. I personally prefer to do the cold plunge in the morning because it gives me more overall benefits, and I also prefer to get into sauna after my training to further support the natural release of growth hormone. So I hope this episode was helpful and that I have convinced you to give cold water therapy a try, because like I said, I've seen incredible improvements in my own recovery after workouts, in my immune system, as well as my willpower. And it's also really great for your skin. It makes your skin look DAF. So, as always, thank you for listening or watching. And if you found this episode helpful, then hit the like button and subscribe to my podcast or channel for more practical tips. And I'll see you guys next time, either here or in the Z Gym with our daily training at zuzkalight.com. Cheers to progress!